Safety Lithuania, K.M.P.S.B. Netherlands, NOPSA Norway, EPSA Poland, APEF Portugal, FESFR Romania, NAPSR Serbia, SBSA Slovakia, SHSFD Slovenia, FEF Spain, SNAP Sweden, ASAP Switzerland, EPSA International Turkey, and BPSA United Kingdom. Please keep them high. I counted 26 voting members.
Okay, we'll continue with the agenda. Next, for today we have the remaining members of the External Relations Department to present the report. We have Patrick. Sorry.
Chair President, I apologize. I was not suspended. I received the standing orders. Thank you.
Continuing. We'll have the Central MP Coordinator report. So I'll ask Victoria to come and present her update.
Good morning, everyone. Since I wrote my report, I have a couple of updates. First, the deadline for IMP placement in EU Calculus was last week, and we had 30 valid applications. They were all sent to the partner, so I will come back to the links with a follow-up to this. And second, we're also going to have a few IMP placements in pharmacovigilance. The promotion for them is going to start in May, so I'm actually waiting to the offer these days. So pharmacovigilance is a global company, and I also believe that these placements are going to be very suitable for many students and also recent graduates as well. So that's it for my report.
Thank you, Victoria. Any comments or questions on her report? DFSO?
Josephine Petersville, Belgium. In your report, you say that it is of greatest importance that we keep track of our work. I was just wondering if you have ideas on to improve this in the future. Thank you.
Victoria?
Well, I have mentioned it more than once that I wanted to build like something like a tracking system when we keep information for all the IMP placements since the beginning, because we have different kind of pieces of kind of information, so every central IMP coordinator since the beginning of IMP basically has kept track of placements in a different way, so I just want to synchronize it. So basically I did that. I also realized that some information cannot be recovered, and what I would recommend is not only for the position of central IMP coordinator, but also for basically for every other position, just for the people who are responsible for the project in the current mandate, just to like keep like some kind of track of what they have done. And I would like to also emphasize that they also have to hand it over to their successor, so they also continue their work. And this also I would like to mention that it's the best that it happens in a synchronized way, so not like in different kind of ways.
Any more comments or questions? If not, Patrick?
Patrick, Vice President External Relations. I would like to thank Victoria for all the work that she did. I fully trusted her with her work last mandate, proactive attitude, and it was definitely good for the project. I think the NIMS are really happy. I was really happy. So thank you very much.
Okay, next we'll have the report of the mobility coordinator. Secretary is not. Oh. First we'll have the professional affairs coordinator report, and then we'll go back to the mobility coordinator report. So Marta, please come and present your update.
Short, but this is too short. Good morning, everyone. So, since I've submitted my report, I finished the guidelines for the mentoring project, career week, and career fair. I've released the statistics on my projects. I have been in contact with the RC in order to organize the career fair that we had, and actually had it. I've been in contact with the European Industrial Pharmacists Group in order to organize an exchange with professionals that unfortunately had to be delayed, but will happen on May. I've been in contact with the alumni in order to organize a test with professionals live that will happen in next Saturday. And I have analyzed the monthly feedback that I requested for mentees in the mentoring project for the months of February and March, and I have analyzed the requests that I had for feedback from the mentors that I ask for feedback in every 2 months. And I've been working on the final version of the new structure for the career page and its content. Unfortunately, I was not able to finish it yet, but it will be finished very soon as the Congress is over. And so far it was this.
Thank you, Marta. Comments or questions? Apef?
Matilda Bev, Portugal. Hey Marta, thank you for your update. I'd like to congratulate your work, especially about Career Week that had really interesting and online workshops, and also for your great dedication for mentoring project.
Any more comments or questions? If not, Patrick?
Patrick, Vice President External Relations. I'm also very proud of Marta and the work that she did, so I completely agree with Abed. You indeed developed your position further, did a great job, and great to see that your enthusiasm for continuing within EPSA. Complete confidence. Thank you very much for the year.
Okay. Now we'll go back to the mobility coordinator report. Sadly, Adriana is not available now, but Patrick will be presenting her update.
Patrick, Vice President External Relations. Since the submitting of the report of Adriana, she was in a very turbulent period of her life, so she did not really have any updates on her report. Maybe something to already take a question away for the humanitarian project. She's planning to have an individual meeting with the LSs, but that will be part of an LS meeting later on as an individual point. So glad to take your questions.
KNPSV.
Seren, KNPSV Netherlands. In the minutes of past year, I read something about the interprofessional twinet. How are these plans progressing? Thank you.
Patrick?
Yes, we are indeed having more international twinet. So previous years we already had an interprofessional twinet with EPSA. Now, because we also have more established contacts with EPSA and EPSA, we are orientating on having interprofessional tuners with them as well. So with EPSA it's more progressed, so you will receive news about the international professional twinet with EPSA, so the dental students quite soon.
Annette?
Site Anne France. I just have a question regarding TWINET. I think it's one of our biggest projects. Unfortunately, in Adriana's report, we don't have a lot of information about the TWINET we did since the beginning of the mandate. Is it possible to have any information about the number of TWINET we did, the person involved, and these kind of things? Because I read in the EPSA newsletter some informations, but unfortunately we don't really know from where are these informations. Thank you.
Yeah, the information that's here about the TWINET is indeed from the Autumn Assembly until now. But the total number of the whole mandate is something that's in a database somewhere on Adriana's computer, and I don't really have access to that now. I can check it later for you. If the GA wants to have that number, then I can look it up. Can I see some emotion cards? Yeah, well then I will ask Adriana to send me maybe a question to what exact numbers do you want for me to actually really phrase a question to her.
Annette?
Site Anne France, thank you very much, Patrick. Of course, I know that you don't have all the information, of course, but I do think that it's maybe important to have in Adriana's report all the information about the TWINET organized this year, as we had in the training coordinator report with all the trainings we had this mandate, for example, the TWINET organized with maybe the number of persons, the countries who which organized it, etc.
Any more comments or questions? Annette?
Site Anne France, and please also, we usually organized a video competition about TWINET. Unfortunately, this year, it didn't happen. Do you have any information why? Thank you.
Patrick, Vice President External Relations. Yeah, it was actually introduced a few years ago, indeed. Just be as a motivational factor, but because of time constraint here during the GA, we really try to limit the time per position to make it equal for everyone. And in the end, yeah, we know that France was a very good contributor to that. No, but besides that, of course, yeah, this year we just chose not to go for it. Maybe next year, maybe the next mobility coordinator will go for it again.
Any other comments or questions? EPSA?
Susanna, PPSA Poland. I would like to ask you also regarding TWINET, what work had been done for promotion the project?
Patrick?
I think, yeah, there has, yeah, just. I think it's a very general known TWINET project of EPSA. Of course, we have all the information on our Facebook page. We even have a TWINET coordinator group, and with the TWINET coordinator group, a lot of information has been shared, also from individual countries, people who were promoting pictures on the Facebook group. So, in my opinion, that's already quite a promotion to everyone that the TWINET project is happening, that it is alive, and that it is actually really giving us some results of people having fun, interacting, learning from each other, and really develop themselves through mobility. So I think the promotion through Facebook was enough this mandate.
Direct by PPSA.
Susanna, PPSA Poland, but the TWINET coordinators group is it's not reaching every member, only TWINET coordinators.
Yeah, thank you. So you proposing to send out a general email to all the LSs with an explanation of the email of the whole project again, saying what it is, saying how to get involved. Is that what you're proposing? Do you have other ideas how to promote this idea?
EPSA?
Susanna, PPSA Poland. I'm just thinking about reaching more members, because every year we have new members in our national associations. So I think it should be like promoted more in the like either in a LS group or members like all of us, because not all of the members are actually aware of the project and so on. So yes, we can promote it, and I think we can do this better.
Yeah, thank you very much for raising your concern. I will discuss this with Adriana and we will tackle this.
Nopsa, did you have a direct? Okay. Any more comments or questions? APEF.
Matilda APEF Portugal. I'd like to ask you if there are any updates in humanitarian mobility projects.
Patrick?
No, they are not. What's raising the humanitarian mobility project part of the report. It said we are in contact with an organization. The name of the organization was where is it? Yeah, can't find the name anymore. But at least the humanitarian project organization is active in Togo. We're just exchanging a few emails saying what it is, what the responsibilities of EPSA will be, what the responsibilities will be of the organization itself. It is very much in the orientation phase, so we also do not have the answers yet. We're trying to figure it out, and whenever we have more information, then we will share that with all of you.
Any other comments or questions? Then, yeah, we'll proceed with the voting of the report. Okay, first we have the... Sorry, Patrick.
Sorry, I thought it was a bit weird to say it here, but apparently not. So Adriana, she's very sorry that she couldn't be here today. She really wanted to be, she really tried to be here, but unfortunately she wasn't also to be here at Skype. Only this time slot was kind of available for her reports, and unfortunately she's having mandatory classes right now, mandatory lab work. So she's really sorry, but she did a good job. She was always proactive whenever she needed something of me. She approached me proactively. It was really nice. Also very proud of her.
Okay, and we will now really proceed to the voting of the reports. First we have the executive. The motion reads: the 55th EPSA General Assembly accepts the following Executive Annual Congress reports 2017-2018. President, Vice President of Internal Affairs, Secretary General, Treasurer, Vice President of Education, Vice President of Public Relations, Vice President of External Relations, and Vice President of European Affairs. I open the floor for discussion on the motion. I close the floor for discussion on the motion. All those against? Any abstentions? The motion was carried unanimously. And the next one. The 55th EPSA General Assembly accepts the following coordinators: Annual Congress Reports 2017-2018, Events Coordinator, Chairperson of the 41st EPSA Annual Congress, Educational Affairs Coordinator, Public Health and Social Services Coordinator, Science Coordinator, Training Coordinator, Information Technology Coordinator, Publications Coordinator, Mobility Coordinator, Central IMP Coordinator, Professional Affairs Coordinator, and Grant Coordinator. I open the floor for discussion on the motion. I close the floor for discussion on the motion and I proceed to voting. All those against, please raise your voting cards. Any abstentions? The motion was carried unanimously. Okay, we will now continue with the agenda, and we will have the 40th Annual Congress final report, for which I will invite representative for the RC. Presented.
Hello, I'm Martin, and I was logistics officer in Kranjska Gora. Stefan, who was in charge of finance, isn't able to join us because he's working. Our chairperson is also online, so if I'm not be able to answer any questions, we can write to him and he'll help me respond. So, yeah, that's it. Do you have any questions?
KMPSV.
Sweden, KMPSV, the Netherlands. In the outcome, it says that the nights that EPSA paid for the speakers were more expensive than the nights that the RC paid for themselves. How is this? Why?
Because, yeah, some speakers were staying by themselves in a room, so it was more expensive. Or they were like staying less than 3 nights, because more than 3 nights it was, if they were staying more than 3 nights, it was cheaper than if they were just staying 1 night.
Eva?
Eva, Vice President of Education. Yeah, also to add, the agreement between EPSA and RCs is, in most cases, that EPSA pays the first night and the RC the second night. So if the speakers were staying for shorter periods of time, it would be only EPSA paying. The RC only pays if they stay longer.
Any other comments or questions? VFSO?
Josephine, VFSO Belgium. I see here in your financial reports that with your incomes there is broken glass door. So I'm just wondering, why is this an income? Thank you.
Yeah, there was had an accident. Some of the participants broke the glass in the club, so yeah, that was it. Sorry.
Please use hand signals. Oh, yes, KMPSV.
Sweden, KMPSV. The participant paid for the glass door, so that's why it's income. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? If not, I will ask the audit committee to provide their... Clara?
Yeah, Clara, audit committee. The audit committee checked the report and we did not find any major mistakes in this report.
Okay, thank you. Diedrich?
Diedrich, Treasurer. I also went through your report, and this was an exceptionally good report in my opinion. That good that I asked your RC to use this as a example for future RCs to build their final report. This is a really good job, and if future RCs need an example, please ask me to send theirs, because it's really the way to go. I would really advise you to accept this.
Okay, thank you, Diedrich. Then we can proceed to the motion, which reads, the 55th EPSA General Assembly accepts the final report of the 40th EPSA Annual Congress 2017. I open the floor for discussion on the motion. I close the floor for discussion on the motion. I proceed to the voting. All those against, please raise your voting cards. Any abstentions? The motion was carried unanimously. Okay, next on the agenda, we have the final report of the 19th EPSA Summer University. Yeah, we have Gonzalo on Skype.
Hi everyone, can you hear me?
Yes.
Nice. Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Can you please provide some small information about the report, and then we can take questions.
Yes, sure. First of all, let me just apologize for my voice because I'm very, very sick, but I will try to speak as clearly as I can. So, I'm here to present the financial report from Summer University from last summer, and I hope that you all had the time to read the report. And just a quick resume, we had a total positive about 5,408 euros. It was a little bit more than we were expecting due to some unexpected partnerships with some local supermarkets that helped us a lot decrease the money on coffee breaks, and also the canteen from our university gave us some discount. And yes, that's it. You have the document, you have the table with the you have the table with the categories of the food, the social program, the educational program. So I will take any questions if you have one. Thank you.
Thank you, Gonzalo. Any comments or questions? KMPSV?
Janine, KPSV the Netherlands. In your report, you state that you opened a bank account. Do you recommend it for other RCs? Or?
Can someone from the PC repeat the question, please?
Katja will write it right now.
Okay. Yes. First of all, thank you for your question, KPSV. And yes, I totally recommend opening a different bank account because I think it's like more transparent for the sake of transparency, and do not mix money with the local or the national associations. So yeah, there's no fixing on the monies, and when it comes to money, I think that it's better to pay a separate account.
Any other comments or questions? If not, I will ask the audit committee to provide their statement. Clara?
Yeah, Clara, audit committee. As audit committee, we checked the financial report of the Summer University. It might not look like financial reports usually look, but it is according to our statutes, so we will propose to accept it.
Thank you, Clara. We will now go to the motion, which reads: the 55th EPSA General Assembly accepts the final report of the 19th EPSA Summer University 2017. I open the floor for discussion on the motion. I close the floor for discussion on the motion. I'll proceed to the voting. All those against, please raise your voting cards. Any abstentions? The motion was carried unanimously.
Thanks a lot, guys. Enjoy the Congress.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay. We've now reached the most important point of the agenda, which are the elections, for which I will now pass the facilitation to Katja.
Good morning, everyone. So as you know, for the elections, also the parliamentarian takes the chair of the assembly, so I would ask the current chairperson, Chert, to please hand me the chair.
Chair President, I pass the chair to Katja.
Thank you. And as Anna has already mentioned, we have come to a very important part of this GA, the elections for the new EPSA team. Today we have a vision in the executive election that this table will be filled with the new candidates which will constitute the EPSA executive of 2018-2019. And in order to do that, I would first like to discharge the current executive, but the discharge will be effective only at the 6th/1st meeting of the current mandate. However, I would please on this point ask the executive to leave the table and take the chairs here so that we can have the new executive, except for the Secretary General, which is still to minute the process, so Leonor will stay, and for the rest of the executive I would kindly ask to leave the stage. Thank you to the outgoing executive. Of course, they are still here in charge and to provide any comments or questions that they would like to have during these elections. And you also probably all know that we have one of the parliamentary councils running in the current election. So we will have to also discharge Chris as a parliamentary council member for the procedure of the elections. Since he cannot proceed as a parliamentary council member in the election that he is running in. So for this reason, the executive is proposing to appoint our past parliamentarian, Sara Torgal, as PC member for the election procedure, because as you know, there have to be 3 PC members present at all times in the General Assembly. And I will open the floor for discussion on the motion, and I will give the word to executive to provide motivation for the motion. So, Chad?
Yeah, President, so Sarah was the EPSA parliamentarian in the previous mandate. She is also an EPSA honorary life member, so the executive believes that this appointment is completely justified and beneficial for the election process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chert. And with that, I would also like ask Chris to please leave the stage, and I would like to ask Sarah to join me here in the front.
We need to vote.
And also we have another motion. Anda?
Voting.
Sorry. Yes. Any more comments or questions on the motion? If not, I close the floor for discussion. We'll proceed to the voting. Anyone against? Any abstentions? The motion was carried unanimously. Thank you. And we'll proceed to the next slide, as we also have to appoint Sarah as a facilitator in this election. Yes, so this is another motion that reads: the 55th EPSA General Assembly appoints Sara Torgar as facilitator for the 55th EPSA General Assembly. I open the floor for discussion. I close the floor for discussion, and we'll proceed to the vote, to the voting. Anyone against? Any abstentions? The motion was carried unanimously, and Sarah will join the PC in facilitating. Awesome. Now, before we start, as I already said, we will be starting today with the elections of the new executive. But let me first say a few words about the elections procedures. So, dear GA, dear participants, dear alumni joining us, dear outgoing executive, the elections are in fact the most pivotal part of the General Assembly taking place at the annual Congress. We have received 24 nominations yesterday, and also in the prolonged open call, we have received this morning another nomination for the Central IMP Coordinator that will be included in the GA package during the coffee break. So currently we have 25 nominations for 21 different positions in the EPSA team. And we have 25 people who are motivated and willing to invest a lot of time in the upcoming year for the work in this association and to really sacrifice their time and their efforts for the future of this association. So it is very, very crucial that we stay focused today, that we have the questions for the candidates, that we think critically, and that we do all together make the best decision for the future of this association. It will be hard, it will be long for all of us, but I would please ask you to keep focused and to keep involved, and in case there is anything unclear in the procedure, I will explain very thoroughly in the next point. Please ask, because the PC is here to facilitate the elections, and it is also in fact our graduation exam. So we are here also very willing to deliver the best election procedure possible. Is that clear? Can we see motion cards? Yes, awesome. I have a comment from Chert.
Discharge President currently. I would just ask the GA and also the chairperson of the elections, because the willingness to invest work into the position and the motivation of the position is up to the GA to judge and up to the candidate to provide in the motivation letter. So I would just ask you to not provide this kind of comments in the elections. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chert. With that, we'll proceed to the explanation of the procedure. We have prepared a flip chart here. Can you all see me if I stop here? Yes? Okay. So, the candidates will be called on stage. We have a procedure, we have an order which is in the agenda. So we will start with the president, continue with the vice president of internal affairs, and so forth. The candidates will join us here on stage. They have 3 minutes allocated for their speech to present their application. Then we'll move to the speeches of the proposer and the seconder. You have 1 minute allocated to that, so the ODs of the proposing and the seconding association will make a comment. Then we'll move to the discussion, which means this is a place where you can ask questions to the candidates, questions related to the position that they're applying to, questions related to their motivation, to their experience. Then we'll move to the final speech. So after all the questions have been answered, the candidate has a chance to provide an up to 1 minute long final speech where he can address some remaining questions and concerns, or just make a nice motivation in the end. Lastly, we'll move to the internal discussion. By now you are familiar that means discussing about the candidate without the candidate present, and I will remind you already here and throughout the day that the internal discussion includes no electronic devices, which means laptops, phones are put away, and also all the discussion stays in this room. And lastly, we'll proceed to the voting. In the elections, we vote by secret ballots. There is no exception because we are dealing with individuals, so you will receive little papers. Firstly, actually, the roll call will be performed, then you will receive the ballots, and then we will collect the ballots and the PC will count the results. And yes, then we will announce the result, we will invite the candidate back in, and we will have possibly new candidate on the EPSA team executive position. And then we will repeat the exactly same procedure for the next candidate. And when we have 2 candidates for the same position as we have later today, I will explain how the procedure is different then. Is this clear? Can I see motion cards? Once again, if you feel lost at any time, please either consider the flip chart or raise a comment, and the PC will explain where exactly we are in the procedure and how we will move forward. And with that, I would invite the first candidate to the stage. So we will start with the elections of the president. We have received 1 nomination from Eva Shannon-Schifrin, and I would invite the candidate to the speech, to the stage. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Dear General Assembly, as Katja already said, my name is Eva Shannon-Schifrin. I'm a second-year postgraduate student of pharmacy at the University of Ljubljana. And this is my nomination for the position of president for the next mandate. My past experience in EPSA includes holding the liaison secretary position for ČSSFD in the 2013-2014 mandate. I continued with holding the position of science coordinator, the secretary general, and now the vice president of education. And I also held several other positions, such as editor in ČSSFD in the previous mandates. My plans for the mandate as president would be firstly to coordinate and lead the team in the completion of their tasks, while keeping them motivated to perform them and stepping in whenever needed due to personal or other reasons. I will, of course, also be the official representative of the association and make sure that EPSA's external image stays positive. I plan to write a team plan of action based on the plans of actions from the team members after the first team meeting. I will release the activity booklet again, and I will liaise with our Board of Trustees members once they are elected by this General Assembly. Next, I plan to assist the Secretary General with the organization of the EPSA archives, as I believe this is a project that is way overdue. And I will help the respective vice presidents establish the new EPSA team positions that were accepted during this General Assembly. I will, of course, also be involved in the implementation of the newest EPSA projects, such as LEAP, Science Blog, Humanitarian Mobility Project, and the Social Services. And I will work with the Vice President of European Affairs to discuss which advocacy topics EPSA should take a lead on in the next mandate. Next, I plan to work with all of you, so the member associations, to increase EPSA's reach on the local level and also help you guys reach more students by yourselves, as I believe this is an area where we can do more as well, and you already started discussing it already. And I will try to increase the professional awareness of EPSA's projects, so not only to have sponsorships, not only to have monetary sponsorships, but also to gain awareness of the projects, and maybe in that way more students will be able to participate in them. So I hope this speech presented my motivation and my past experience, and thank you for considering my nomination, sorry.
Thank you, Eva. And with that, I will proceed to the 1-minute speech from the proposer. Can you please raise your hand? Yes, just
Katja, ČSSFD Slovenia. I'd like to say that since I met Eva, she has always worked with the same effort and dedication as of her current position of Vice President of Education. Her work is consistent, with no drops out in motivation. Eva is organized, positive, and open for communication. She's easy to approach to and eager to hear different points of view to the same subject. And these are all crucial traits of a great team leader, and Eva has proven to be one. Eva has been in the EPSA executive for the last 2 years as Secretary General and as Vice President of Education. She knows the structure of EPSA to details. She has a lot of experience, and she understands team dynamics needed for EPSA as an association to run. So that is why we strongly believe that Eva is the right person to be running for president's position. Thank you.
Thank you, ČSSFD. And with that, we'll proceed to the speech of the seconder. So, Anna. You have 1 minute.
Yeah. Site Anna France. Since she started the EPSA adventure in 2013, being LS of ČSSFD Slovenia, Eva didn't stop to be devoted to EPSA. This mandate, as Vice President of Education, we all agree that with her team, they did an incredible job. A hard worker, organized, good leader, Eva will for sure meet our expectations. Eva has a perfect knowledge of EPSA's position and network. Her communication and leadership skills will enable her to coordinate the different EPSA positions and would give her a remarkably effective way to lead her example. ANF strongly supports Eva, who will for sure bring pharmacy, knowledge, and students together. Thank you.
Thank you, Annette. And with that, we will move to the discussion. So the floor is now open for questions for Eva. I have APEF and then IFF well.
Matilda APEF Portugal. So my question is, how do you plan to divide and coordinate your tasks with the Vice President of European Affairs and External Affairs?
Yes, thank you for your question. This is something that will first need to be discussed with people elected to the positions, but I would allow them to take the lead on the external representation in Brussels, as I will not be able to be a permanent intern in Brussels, so they will take a lead as they did this year, as was obvious from Church's recommendations. I will assist them whenever needed to contact any of the sponsors for the external relations, and in regards to the European affairs, I will assist the position holder with the organization of the annual reception and also help with the advocacy topics and with the implementation of the new department that we created during this General Assembly.
Thank you. And next we have IFF well.
Marcelino, IFFL Portugal. Thank you for your presentation. So what is the main goal you would like EPSA to achieve in the future mandate, and how do you plan to reach it?
Thank you. I believe the main goal should be to increase the awareness of our activities and our projects, as we already started discussing during the LS meeting at this event. So for this, I would like to also collect your opinion, as you are the ones closer to the students, and also work with professional organizations to increase the awareness of our projects there, and maybe gain some support like we are trying to do with the methodology booklet right now.
Thank you. Next I have PPHD and then KPSV.
Konstantin, BPHD Germany. First of all, thank you for your application. I do believe your supporters when they say that you will do a great job in coordinating the team. However, I believe that presidents are also supposed to envision the future of the team or the or EPSA as a whole. So I would like to ask you, what are your visions for EPSA? Where do you want to see EPSA in 5 years? Where do you want to see it in 15 years? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So as I said first, I would really like to see EPSA's reach increase, have more students interested in it, which has already been happening. We've had more than enough applications for this event. Other than that, I believe the current number of projects is sufficient. But of course, if another project that is beneficial for the students appears, we will try to implement it. But yeah, what I think the focus of EPSA should be in the next years is increasing the reach and increasing the external recognition, which we have been doing so far already.
Thank you. Next we have KPSV, then Shasavada, and then Afro.
Janine, KPSV the Netherlands. You've held various positions in the EPSA team, previous mandates, with different presidents. From these experiences, how are you going to make sure that the motivation and communication is improving?
Yes, thank you. Yes, as you said, I've observed 3 different presidents and their different styles of leadership, so I will try to implement the positives of all of them while keeping in mind what did not go so well in each mandate. And what I believe is very important in terms of team motivation is to keep in mind that also the position holders that seemingly perform their tasks well need additional motivation as well, so to motivate everyone, not just the ones that actually ask for it.
Thank you. Next we had Shasavada.
Katja, the Slovenia. How will you make sure that the 2 new team positions get integrated well into the structure of EPSA?
Yes, thank you. So I will discuss it with the future vice presidents of Public Relations and European Affairs, And then if they would like me to, I will join the meetings and assist with the implementation, as I have been observing the discussions during the past 2 mandates, as both positions have been discussed for 2 mandates already, and make sure that all of the tasks that we discussed in this team and in the previous team are still implemented, and also assist with advice from my past experience in regards to the coordinator's tasks.
Thank you. Then Afuk.
We in AFIP Austria, I agree with everyone that you will definitely do a great job, but I just have a question. You have been talking about improving EPSA's level of reach. Do you already have any ideas on how you want to achieve that? Thank you.
Thank you. We have been trying to increase the promotion, and we have been implementing the paid Facebook posts this mandate, which already helped. But I believe to be successful in this, we have to work with you guys, as you know what appeals to the students and how to reach them more. And from the discussions we've already had, I believe you guys are struggling with the same issue. Well, some of you, so yeah, to sit down with everyone first and then try to find a way to help for EPSA, to help the member associations reach more people, as that's the way I think it should be. It should not be just from our side, but us helping you.
Thank you. KMPSV, did you have another comment? Yes, so then KMPSV, FSFR, VPSO, then we have Maya in the back, Jan in the back, and then SSFB.
So in KMPSV, during the past mandates, the KPIs were implemented in the, well, I guess in the team. Well, in the team. Did you like it, and are you planning on keeping it this way? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I'm planning to keep the KPIs. The current team discussed them at the third team meeting, and some team members stated that they are not that happy with the current structure. So we already set a plan in motion to prepare a training for the upcoming team on KPIs, and then the upcoming team will evaluate if that helps and on the future of the project. But yes, I would like to keep it and stay in line with the idea the current team had for the next mandate.
Thank you. Then I had FSFR. Yeah, please raise your hand for the scrutineer.
Betty, FSFR Romania. You mentioned in your motivation letter that you want to increase EPSA's visibility in the professional sphere. And I want to ask you, do you have in mind any stakeholder or organization that EPSA has not approached yet?
Thank you. No, I do not specifically have any in mind. This is something that will need to be discussed with Patrick, Dorothea, and the future position holders, as Patrick has been approaching many stakeholders this year. So yeah, that's something that still needs to be discussed with him, and also with the project holders, to see which stakeholders they would also like to approach.
Thank you. Next I had BFSO.
Pieter Jan van Hallewijn, BFSO Belgium. What do you consider to be your weaknesses?
Thank you for the interesting question. I consider my weakness that I will not be able to go to Brussels, but I believe that could also be made into an advantage for the team, as the tasks will have to be a bit redistributed, but the Vice Presidents of European Affairs and External Relations will still take over the external tasks. And I believe the fact that I will not go to Brussels will open up the possibility for other position holders to go there, which could also be positive for the development of their portfolios. And yeah, I think that would be my main weakness for the upcoming mandate.
Thank you. Then I had Maya in the back. And while the scrutineer comes to you, then I still have Jan, SSFB, and CPSA.
Maya, EPSA alumna. Hi. Eva, so we heard a lot about your experience, also your objectives, but I would also like to know more about your personal motivation to run for the president. You're also a recent graduate, young professional, so what does motivate you to be the president of Student Association?
Yes, thank you. This mandate, I've had the pleasure to work with very nice department, and it's really motivated me to work with people more. So my main motivation is to work with the team members, work with the students. I enjoy working with people, and I enjoy taking EPSA to the next level and developing new projects. So yeah, my main motivation would be to continue to work with people and also bringing EPSA forward.
Thank you, and then I had Jan.
Jan, EPSA alumnus. Eva, you mentioned that you would not be able to go to Brussels. What would be your availability to travel regularly for EPSA for representations across Europe? And how do you see your impact on the team in Brussels?
Yes, thank you. So I would not be able to travel to every event, but the current interns are also not able to do that as they need to ask their internships for the 3 days. But I will have to prioritize which events to attend. But for sure, I will be able to attend at least some of the events. But it will have to be discussed with the rest of the executive. And this mandate, we have already been prioritizing Vice President of Internal Affairs in terms of member events and Vice President of External Relations in terms of professional events. And whenever needed or really important, I will also make sure to travel. And then in regards to the second part, I will try to travel to Brussels as often as possible to meet with the interns, and also we will meet online for sure. But yes, I would like to be in Brussels at least once every 2 months, but probably more often.
Thank you. I had a direct from KPSV.
Student KPSV, which events do you think are the most important and you are definitely planning on trying to be there? Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I think it's the events where EPSA is invited as a guest of honor, or we are receiving an award. Events in that line, whereas member events can be covered by internal affairs, and events mainly aimed at contacting possible sponsors should be covered by the external relations.
Thank you. Then we had SSFB.
Olivia, SSFB Romania, I want to ask you, in your opinion, what is the most important quality of a president? Thank you.
Thank you. I think the most important quality is, well, I think there are two very important qualities, organization and approachfulness. So team members should be able to approach me freely, but also member associations should be able to approach me freely. But at the same time, the organization is very important, so all the tasks are delivered within the stated deadlines.
Thank you. And then we had CPSA.
Marin, CPSA Croatia. As you're not going to Brussels, there is a spot for someone new, and maybe we'll have a fourth internship, so there will be 2 more spots. Which position would you prefer to be there? What do you think is, for whom it would be most beneficial?
Thank you. I would not stress any of the other positions, as the positions of Vice President of External Relations and European Affairs already have this either mandated or recommended. I would not recommend it for any of the other positions because it depends on the position holders, but we will for sure, the executive will meet and discuss all of the applications from the EPSA team for the internships, and then decide which one will benefit the most from the presence in Brussels. But it's hard to assess before we have the availability of the other position holders.
Then I had IFF12.
Margarida, IFF12 Portugal. If you only had 1 minute to present EPSA to World Health Organization's Director General, what would you say?
Thank you. I would say that EPSA is an organization that represents over 160,000 pharmaceutical students from all over Europe. we keep growing. We have many projects, many activities in areas ranging from mobility to education, and we are also present on different social media, and our website is available to everyone to check us out. We meet regularly, the students engage with us a lot, and I would then try explaining that we are also having new projects and their involvement in our projects would be beneficial.
Thank you. That concludes my speaking list. Do I have any more comments or questions? If not, I would give Eva the chance to provide her 1-minute closing speech.
Yes, first I would like to thank the General Assembly for the questions and for considering my nomination. I hope my speech, my motivation letter, and my answers demonstrated my motivation and my willingness to continue the EPSA journey, and I would like to thank you again.